The air in Studio 6B was a chemical compound of joy and heat. It was a Thursday taping, the last of the week, and the audience was live, unpasteurized, and desperate to laugh. They had waited for hours in the cold, snaking line outside 30 Rockefeller Plaza, and now, packed into the intimate Jewel Box Theater, they were a coiled spring. The roots, the backbone of the entire operation, were playing a deep, greasy funk groove, so tight it seemed to vibrate the floor. Higgins, from his podium, was already laughing, his signature bark cutting through the warm-up music. This wasn't just a show. It was a release valve for the entire city. In the green room, 5 minutes earlier, the mood had been a different kind of tense. Alex Stone, a man who looked like he was carved from mountain rock and quiet intensity, was pacing. His publicist, a thin, sharp woman named Mara, was nervously tapping her phone. Alex, remember the talking points, Mara said, not looking up. The echo of the void is about isolation. The performance is transformative, and the game is non-negotiable. Alex stopped pacing. He was famous for his terrifying physical transformations, losing 60 pounds for The Machinist, gaining 40 pounds of muscle for Gladiator Rising. He was not famous for games. Mara, I told you, I don't do bits. It's not me. It is you, tonight, she said, finally looking up, her smile tight. You're the serious actor. The joke is seeing the serious actor do something silly. It makes you relatable. It makes you human. You want this Oscar? You have to play the game. You're doing kid theater. End of discussion. Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. He hated this part, the selling part. He just wanted to get it over with. On stage, the show began. From Studio 6B in Rockefeller Center, it's The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy burst through the blue curtains, his energy a physical force. He didn't just walk to the mark, he sprinted, slapping a dozen hands in the front row, his smile so wide it looked like it hurt. The monologue was a masterpiece of speed and silliness. He landed a joke about a new AI coffee machine that roasts you instead of your beans. MyPillow.com is getting weird, guys, and the audience howled. He was in his element, a conductor of pure, unadulterated fun. We have a huge, huge show tonight, Jimmy yelled over the applause, straightening his slim Tom Ford tie. Our first guest is an incredible actress, a friend of the show. You know her from everything. Please welcome the amazing Zoe Kravitz. The first segment was perfect. Zoe was charming, witty, and told a great story about a disastrous audition. The energy was building. We'll be right back, Jimmy shouted, and my second guest is here, the star of the new movie, The Echo of the Void, an Oscar nominee, the one and only Alex Stone. The audience erupted. Alex Stone. This was a booking. Alex wasn't a talk show guest. He was an actor, the kind of serious, brooding, intensely dedicated performer who was spoken of in whispers. The fact that he was here on this show was a massive get. When the show returned, Jimmy was almost vibrating with a nervous energy. Our next guest, Jimmy began, he's just one of the greatest actors of his generation. He's nominated for another Academy Award for his new film, The Echo of the Void. Please welcome the incredible Alex Stone. Alex walked out. He didn't bound. He strode. He was tall, wearing a simple, impeccably tailored dark suit. He didn't wave wildly. He gave a small, appreciative nod to the cheering crowd, a polite, almost shy smile on his face. He shook Jimmy's hand firmly and sat down. Alex, welcome to the show, Jimmy beamed. Thanks for having me, Jimmy. It's a lot, Alex said, his voice quiet, his eyes darting around the studio, at the band, at the lights. It's a lot. It's a party, Jimmy laughed. Yeah, Alex said with a small smile. I'm not much of a party guy. The interview was good, but different. Alex was thoughtful, intense. He spoke about his new film with a quiet passion, discussing the existential dread of the character. Jimmy, to his credit, met him there, asking smart questions. But you could feel the slight friction, the high-octane energy of a late-night host meeting the quiet, introverted intensity of a serious artist. Jimmy, sensing this, decided to pivot. I know you as this serious actor, Alex, Jimmy said, leaning forward. You're You're Alex Stone, but I did some research. I talked to your wife." Alex's eyes widened. "Oh, no." "Oh, yes," Jimmy grinned. "And she told me that the guy who, you know, eats gravel for a roll is not the guy at home. She told me, and I quote, that you are a world-class championship-level goofball." The audience laughed. Alex buried his face in his hands, his cheeks turning red. "She said what? I'm going to have words with her." "It's true," Jimmy said, pulling out a card. "She said you do dinosaur impressions for your kids at breakfast? T-Rex arms?" That is classified information, Jimmy," Alex stammered, but he was laughing. The ice was broken. "So I knew you had it in you," Jimmy said, his eyes gleaming, "and I thought, since you're here, we can't just talk about existential dread. We have to we have to create. We have to act." "Uh-oh," Alex said, his smile fading into genuine nervousness. Mara's words echoed in his head. "What have you done?" "Alex Stone," Jimmy said, standing up dramatically. "It is time for kid theater." The audience exploded. They knew the bit, the most absurd, high-concept, purely joyful segment on the show. The premise: Jimmy and his A-list guest would perform scripts written by actual 6-year-olds with all the misspellings, bad grammar, and sudden, nonsensical plot twists. But they would perform them with dead, Shakespearean seriousness. "No," Alex said, shaking his head, laughing. "No, Jimmy, I can't. I'm not a sketch guy." "You don't have to be. That's the point," Jimmy said, pulling him up. "You just have to be a serious actor." The curtains behind them parted, revealing the kid theater set. It was, as always, beautifully terrible. A badly painted cardboard sun with a smiley face hung by a visible string. A lopsided green-painted cardboard tree stood in the corner. And then the costumes. A stagehand brought out Jimmy's. It was a black velvet cape, upon which were dozens of poorly cut, glued-on felt flames in red, orange, and yellow. It was topped off with a flimsy plastic gold crown. "You," Jimmy announced, "are Mr. Carrot." A second stagehand brought out Alex's costume. The audience howled. It was a giant orange foam rubber tube. It was stiff, cylindrical, and went from his neck to his knees with a pointed bottom. His arms were pinned inside. His head, his serious, Oscar-nominated face stuck out of the top, which was crowned with a green felt stem beanie. I look like a traffic cone," Alex said, his voice muffled as they strapped him in. "You look amazing," Jimmy cackled, putting on his flame cape. The segment was already a masterpiece of absurdity. Alex Stone, the intense star of The Echo of the Void, was standing center stage, immobile, dressed as a giant root vegetable. "Okay, first script," Jimmy announced, pulling a piece of paper from a box. This is The Sad Dog, written by Amy, age 5. Jimmy put on a pair of serious actor glasses. The Roots played a single dramatic piano chord. Jimmy as man. "Hey, why are you sad, dog?" Alex, his face a mask of dramatic agony, peeking out of the carrot top, took a deep breath. Alex as dog. "I lost my bone," spelled B-O-W-N. Jimmy as man. "Your bone, where did it go?" Alex as dog. "It went to space." Jimmy was already breaking. His shoulders were shaking, trying not to laugh. Alex, however, was a professional. He was in it. Alex, as dog. "My bone is on the moon, and I am just a dog. I cannot," he looks up dramatically, "I cannot jump that high." The audience was crying with laughter. The contrast between Alex's dead serious delivery and the idiotic foam costume was one of the funniest things the show had ever produced. "This is amazing," Jimmy wheezed, wiping a tear. Okay, final scene. This one. This one is intense. It's an action thriller. It's called Mr. Fire and the Carrot Man, written by Leo, age 6. Alex Stone nodded, his face grim, ready for the scene. The foam tube squeaked. Jimmy put his Mr. Fire persona on. He swirled his cape. Jimmy as Mr. Fire. "I am Mr. Fire. I am very hot." He fanned himself dramatically. Alex as Mr. Carrot. "I am Mr. Carrot. I am orange." The audience was howling. This was it. This was peak comedy. Jimmy as Mr. Fire. "I have come To your house, spelled Hows. Alex, as Mr. Carrot. Oh no, why are you here, Mr. Fire? I do not like you. Jimmy took a dramatic breath, ready for the punchline of the sketch. He raised his arms, his felt flame cape unfurling. He stepped closer to Alex. Jimmy, as Mr. Fire. I am going to burn your house, because I am Mr. Fire. He delivered the line with a goofy, villainous roar. He waited for Alex's response. The script said, "Oh no, you will make me a cooked carrot." Alex didn't speak. The studio laughter, which had been a constant roar, began to taper off, confused. Jimmy, still in character, nudged him. Mr. Carrot, you're supposed to say, oh no." Alex's face was wrong. He wasn't in the sketch anymore. His eyes were wide, unfocused, staring past Jimmy at the hot red on-air light. He was not there. He was breathing fast, short, shallow gasps. I can't, he whispered. Jimmy's smile vanished. The Mr. Fire character disintegrated. The plastic crown suddenly looked pathetic. Alex? Hey, Alex, you okay? Alex stumbled back, but the foam costume, which had been so funny, was now a trap. He was rigid, his arms pinned. He looked like he was in a straitjacket. The smell, he gasped. What smell? Alex, what's wrong? Jimmy said, moving closer, his voice now laced with genuine panic. The lights, Alex said, his voice cracking. He was sweating profusely. They're so hot. The foam, I can smell it. It's the smell. It's burning. In the control booth, the producer, Frank, sat bolt upright. What's he talking about? Is this a bit? I didn't approve a bit. I'm sorry, Jimmy, Alex gasped, his eyes wild. I have to get out of this. Get me out. Get me out of this. He was panicking. He thrashed, but the rigid costume held him fast. Cut! Cut the sketch! Jimmy yelled, his voice a commanding crack. The Roots, who had been playing faint, silly villain music, stopped instantly. The sound cut out. The bright, colorful set lights snapped to a harsh, neutral white. Jimmy ripped off his flame cape and crown. Get him out! He and two stagehands rushed to Alex, who was hyperventilating, his face pale and slick. They fumbled with the straps in the back of the costume. It's stuck, a stagehand hissed. Just rip it, Jimmy yelled. They tore the costume down the back, ripping the foam. Alex burst out of it, his expensive designer shirt soaked in sweat as if he'd been sprayed with a hose. He didn't stand. He stumbled, falling to his hands and knees on the stage, gasping for air. Alex, my God, man, what happened? Jimmy knelt in front of him, his hand on his back. The studio was a tomb. The audience, who had been crying with laughter seconds before, was now in a state of shocked, horrified silence. Alex, on his hands and knees, just shook his head, unable to speak. He was trying to catch his breath. The house, he finally gasped. What? Jimmy said. The fire. The house, Alex said, his voice the broken, terrified whimper of a child. I was 8 years old. Our house, the fire, Jimmy's face was a mask of pure, unadulterated horror. He understood. The smell, Alex choked out. That hot foam, it's the same smell. The insulation, the couch, it was my brother. The camera held on Jimmy, his face frozen as he realized what he had done. The sketch, the words, the costume, he had, by complete tragic accident, recreated a man's worst nightmare. My little brother, Alex panted, looking up at Jimmy, his eyes seeing something 20 years in the past. Leo, he was in his crib. The smoke, it was so thick, I couldn't see, and he couldn't finish. He turned away and was physically sick on the stage. Go to break. Go to black. Now! Jimmy roared at the cameras. The screen cut to black. It was the most abrupt, violent cut in the show's history. The studio was chaos. The work lights came up. Clear the audience, a producer yelled, but the audience was frozen, watching as Alex Stone, their hero, was helped up by Jimmy and a medic. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Alex was muttering, dazed. Don't you dare be sorry, Jimmy said, his voice thick, his arm around Alex, guiding him off the stage. I am sorry, Alex. My God, I didn't know. They disappeared into the wings, past the next guest, a celebrity chef, who was standing there holding a platter of sandwiches, her face a mask of confusion. The commercial break was an eternity. In the green room, Alex was sitting on a couch, wrapped in a blanket, his head in his hands still trembling. His publicist, Mara, was frantically pacing on her phone. No, it was a reaction to the costume material, a chemical. No, no, just cancel the morning shows. Yes, I'll call you back. She hung up and saw Jimmy enter. Jimmy, he needs a minute. We're handling it. Get out, Jimmy said, his voice a low growl she'd never heard. Excuse me? I'm his. I said, get out, Mara, now. She looked at him, stunned, and left, closing the door. Jimmy sat down next to Alex. They sat in silence for a full minute. The only sound was Alex's ragged breathing. My brother Leo, Alex finally said, his voice hollow. He was 3. The smoke alarm, the battery was dead. My dad, he'd been working a double. He left a cigarette in the couch in the den. Jimmy just listened. I woke up because I smelled it, that chemical smell, burning polyester. That's what I smelled, Jimmy. That foam, the glue, the heat from the lights. It was the same smell. I ran to his room. It was so hot. The handle was hot. I kicked it open. It was full of smoke, black. I couldn't see. I heard him coughing. I grabbed him. I grabbed him out of the crib, and I had to jump out the window, second floor. He looked at Jimmy, his eyes haunted. I landed on the bushes. I broke my arm, my collarbone. Leo, he was fine, just smoke inhalation, but I've never been able to be in tight spaces since, and the smell, that hot chemical smell. I'm sorry. You're a hero, Alex, Jimmy whispered. I'm not, Alex said. I'm just the guy who got out. A sharp knock. Frank, the producer. Jimmy, we're back in 30 seconds. We're running a rerun segment right now, but what do I do? The next guest, she's ready. Alex stood up, wobbly. I'm okay. I'm gonna go. Mara, call the car. No, Jimmy said. You're not. I am. He looked at Frank. Get me a stool, center stage, no desk, no band, and tell the chef her segment is canceled. Tell her I'll have her on first next week, with my deepest apologies. A stool, Jimmy? Just do it. The show returned. The bright, colorful kid theater set was gone. The desk was gone. There was just a single wooden stool in a pool of soft, white light. Jimmy walked out. He was not wearing a suit jacket. His tie was loosened. The audience, who had been told there was a technical difficulty, was silent, confused. He sat on the stool. He looked at the camera. His eyes were red. Hi, he said. His voice was small. So, what you just saw, that was real. He took a deep breath. We do a lot of stupid stuff on this show. We love to be silly, and kid theater it's my favorite bit. It's supposed to be pure joy. We had our guest Alex Stone in a ridiculous carrot costume, and I was Mr. Fire. He paused, collecting himself, and we stumbled into something, a script written by a child about a house fire, triggered a real traumatic memory for my friend. What you saw was a panic attack. It was real trauma. It wasn't a joke. He looked down. Sometimes we live in this world of sketches and characters, and we forget that the people we watch, the heroes we see in movies, and they're real people. They carry real things with them. Alex is he's okay. He's backstage, and he's a hero, for real. When he was 8 years old, he saved his little brother Leo from a house fire. He's a hero, and we made him relive it in a foam carrot. He shook his head, a look of profound self-disgust on his face. We're not doing any more bits tonight. We're not finishing the show. We're just going to send our love to Alex and to his brother Leo, Who was safe? Because of him. He stood up. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll try to be funny tomorrow. Good night, everybody. He walked off stage. The credits rolled in total silence. The next day, the papers weren't about existential dread or Oscar buzz. They were about a hero, and for the first time, they weren't talking about Alex Stone, the actor. They were talking about Alex Stone, the brother.